So it's mid-August here in Leamington, and as you can see, we grow a lot of our own stuff. There's all kinds of vegetables coming in from our own garden, but for some reason we've never gotten around to growing our own cucumbers. Maybe next year. So I just went out locally, and these cucumbers have been picked fresh today. They're $3 a bag, and there's over a dozen cucumbers in a bag. And I'm going to make pickles, but I don't want to slave over the pickle crock pot for days on end, so I use the lazy method. And that's just to use Bernardon Sweet Pickle mix. So I'm just going to show you how we do that here. And we also like onions with our pickles, so we've done those. What you have to do is just scald them, and then pop them out of the hot water, put them in really cold water, and the skins peel off much easier. So now what I'm getting ready to do is slice up those cucumbers right there. They've been washed, and there's many, many, many loads behind them waiting to be washed and sliced as well. And while all that's happening, we've got our canning jars getting ready to be sterilized in there. The water is going to get hot momentarily. So I'm going to go away now and slice up the cucumbers. Okay, so there you can see the cucumbers being sliced. The first thing you do is you slice off the ends of the cucumber, so about that much, both ends, and I just throw that in the compost bucket. And then you want these to be about 1/8 of an inch or 3 millimeters thick, each of your slices. And then I just throw them in a bowl where they kind of wait for their next step. Alright, all this stuff is chopped up and ready to go, and the onions have been skinned. So we're ready to start actually pickling, the lazy method of course. I'm following this recipe right here. It's the sweet sandwich bread and butter pickles. So what I need to do is first add the sweet pickle mix. So that's the sweet pickle mix right here. It comes in a little pouch like that. You can see, so I'm going to pour that into the pot. Okay. Then the recipe calls for 3 3/4 cups of white granulated sugar. So into the pot that goes. And then the same amount of vinegar, just your regular grocery store vinegar. I think it's 5%. And that's 3 3/4 cups as well. And in that goes. And then you're supposed to combine those in the pot. So I'm just going to give that a mix. Okay, you can see now that the pickling mixture has come to a full rolling boil. So now what I need to do is add my vegetables and then let it all stand for 5 minutes. So in go the onions. And in go the cucumbers. And the next bucket of cucumbers. And then I'm going to give it a mix, although I'm going to have to put the camera down for that, and then put the cover back on and let it stand for 5 minutes. So what you do is you grab a canning jar that's filled with water, so you've got to dump that out. Okay, we place that on the towel. This is a handy funnel. Everything's been washed, so we're working in a really clean environment right now. And we're going to ladle the pickle mixture into the jars and get some liquid with it as well. And you want to end up about 1 centimeter away from the lid. So I need to scoop up a little more of the liquid. Fill that up. So about 1 centimeter away from the top. That should do it. Then what you need is a non-metallic utensil. I've just got this plastic knife that I use. to sort of work your way around the edges and get all the bubbles out. Send it all the way down to the bottom, just kind of wiggle it around. More of the bubbles will be pushed to the top during the boiling water bath, but that should be good. Okay. And then what you do is, this is a handy little magnet that can go into the water. Grab a lid. Make sure it's only one lid, which it is. Oops, forgot one step. Just wipe the rim with a clean cloth. And place that on there. Push down. Sort of seal it. And then I grab a ring. They're also waiting in here. Grab that. Screw that on, only finger tight. And then this guy goes back into the hot water so that it stays warm while you're doing all the others. But there you go, there's a nice little jar of pickles. It's wonderful to open up a jar of pickles in the wintertime when it's dark at 4:30 and freezing cold outside. So now I'm going to do the rest of the jars, and I'll come back and let you know how many jars that it made. And I forgot to mention, just while these guys are getting boiled over here, the water's coming up to boiling, and then that's when you start your timing too, when the water starts to boil. But I forgot to mention that you can eliminate this step altogether. If you want your pickles just to end up in your refrigerator, they'll store for up to 3 months, it says, then you don't have to do this boiling water bath procedure. You can just pack the hot vegetables and the liquid into hot jars, apply the closures, and then cool 1 hour and refrigerate, and they'll store for up to 3 months. So maybe that's what I'll do with the ones that ran out of the pickling juices. I may just put those in the refrigerator and we'll eat those ones first. Okay, time to put the lid on these and get those boiling. Alright, here we go. The pickles have been boiling now for 10 minutes. And it's time to get them out of here. So I just use my handy dandy grabber. Kind of just pour a little bit of the water off the lid. Again, have a nice dry towel on your countertop. Just pull them out. I just tilt them a little, just slightly, just to get some of the water off the lid. But I don't know, some people say that you're supposed to pull them right up straight. And then what you have to do is just leave them. And don't mess with them. Leave them until they're cool. And then store them in a cool, dark place. And you should have pickles in the middle of winter. Your own homemade pickles.
Mom,
very
can
yummy.
you have some apple juice?
And here comes somebody asking for apple juice. How about some pickles? Look at those, eh?
Apple
What do you think?
juice.
Apple juice? Yeah, you can have some apple juice. Okay, that is it. Until later. If you try this, I hope things go well for you. I'll be back in a bit. Alright, so there we go. We've got 7 of the small canning jars full of pickles, plus those 3 where I messed up somehow and ran out of pickling juice for, but I ended up making more pickling juice out of vinegar and sugar, and those ones are going to go in the fridge. 1 for here, 1 for home, and 1 for some lucky or maybe unlucky person, depends on how the pickles taste. We'll give that one away. And that was all done using the Bernardon Sweet Pickle Mix. Made it really easy. So, this is Peely Farmer signing off from the farm in Leamington, Ontario. See you next time, and happy pickling!